That's great. So right now, Purdue is down 45-58 in Bloomington. Trey Kaufman-Renz has been whistled for a flagrant. The flagrant really doesn't matter because of the nature of the way Purdue's played this previous 14 minutes. I thought I'd just go and get this out of the way. That's one. I don't say this very often. I don't use this term very often, but and IC says the same thing. But that's an embarrassing second half of basketball. That's really, really horrible what Purdue's just done. Just to give you a quick recap in case you're just joining me or whatever, or you're just sick of watching Purdue piss down their leg. Purdue was up by 12 at the half, and they came in the second half and promptly handed the ball to IU 3 or 4 times straight. Braden Smith with a couple errant passes, one of the bad passes to Trey Kaufman-Renz bounced off his hands. Most of them led to pick sixes, meaning IU would go down and score almost right away. IU started hitting threes, which IU does not hit threes. Purdue's going to lose their 4th straight game. They'll fall to 11 and 6 in the conference and 19-9. And now they're going to start flirting with a really, really bad seed in the NCAA tournament, honestly. I mean, you're getting into pretty special stuff here where you go from being a top 10 team to, I'm not going to say not making the tournament yet, but I'll tell you what, lose to UCLA at Mackey, they can lose to Rutgers. We've seen that before, and then they will lose to Illinois. You're on the bubble. IU needed this win today, and IU played like they needed to win in the second half. IU did not play like that in the first half. Purdue was absolutely doing whatever they wanted to for the last 8 minutes of the first half, and in the second half, Purdue just handed the thing right back to them. It's an incredible debacle, collapse. It's one of the worst halves of basketball I think we'll ever see as Purdue fans. Hopefully one of the worst halves of basketball we'll ever see. And people said this was as bad as Wisconsin. That somebody said that on Twitter, and I would counter that. Wisconsin's a better team than IU. Mike Woodson did some things that don't make any sense at all. He took just 2 best offensive weapons out of the game to start the second half. Took Mabako and Ballo out of the game, put them on the bench. You said, okay, I guess this is what we need. We need to get rid of our guys that can actually score. A Lawyer hits 2, cuts it to 14. 5:54 left. And just like the Wisconsin game, this is one parallel. Once that lead got into double digits, it felt like, oh, this is over. Purdue's lack of fight, lack of defensive connectedness, lack of any ability to generate any good shots at all offensively in the second half. Really noteworthy stuff to me. I mean, the thing that kills me about this is I was watching offensive sets where he would be getting down to 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and Smith would be hammering the ball into the hardwood at about 25, 26 feet. So that's some special stuff. Before I go any further, which I apologize to my sponsors there, but they've been great all season. Thanks to Home Field Apparel. Head over to homefieldapparel.com, enter Boiled25 at checkout for 15% off. And also, when you're watching Anthony Leal's dumbass face make that stupid grin, and you just want to go and make the voices stop, you head towards the fire station. Grab a pint. Maybe we'll get a Boiled Sports Magnet at the bottom of it. Grab some pub fare. Get some mac and cheese bites or a pretzel for appetizer. Some beef. Burgers, beef, and beer. That's AJ's by the fire station. So I don't think the officiating has mattered at all in the second half, if I'm being real honest. That last flagrant, it's a flagrant and it's probably legit by the books. I'm not going to talk about what happened in the first half because that was an awfully officiated play. But that one play didn't make the difference because after that play, Purdue went and played tough and made everything difficult on IU. Since then, in the second half, since Purdue got that major lead, Paint decided to pull the plug on Colvin's absolute heat that he was bringing in the first half, put him on the bench, and then get really rigid with the way he does things. IU with a 3 in and out. And Purdue looked like my thumbnail, a train wreck in this second half. Lawyer draws a foul on Ballo. He'll go to line. Let's see. Both teams are, Purdue's about to be in the super bonus, and IU already is with, 4 or 5 minutes left. I don't know. It's an awful game. Purdue loses their 4th straight for the first time since 2019, 2020. If they continue to play the way they are, which they're going to, I cannot see this team having enough fight to bring this game in. 5 minutes left. By the way, plenty of time to make this a ball game, if not win. And I mean that. Purdue is now down by 11. They're going to be down by 10 after Lawyer hits this shot. And if I jinx this team, and they don't go out to lose, you guys can all thank me later, because my plan was not anything about the psychology of the game, because I have nothing to do with the outcome of these games. Yeah. By the way, I'm drinking Hard Truth chocolate malt today. If you ever had it, it's really good. It's amazing stuff because it smells like chocolate, and it has a little that aftertaste of chocolate. But I decided to go with bourbon today, not because I'm going against everything, but this game was so out of hand that it didn't feel like it like my emotional state mattered. I wasn't mad. First fouls, Ballo, count it. I'll go to the line. Did they count it? No points on the board yet. Maybe it was on the floor. First has struggled a lot today with kind of the timing of the whole thing, and First continues to struggle. In these 4 games, these 4 losses, First has been the inverse of what he was in January. He was absolutely a guy that was doing all the little stuff, all the right stuff off the bench, but he's not alone in his effort of not playing well. Nothing's working. I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at the stats real quickly. TKR had a good first half. Colvin had a good first half. It was interesting. They spread out the points really well the first half. Colvin off the bench, 8 points. Since then, he's got 0 points. In his defense, he hasn't been given the chance to play very much. Cam Heide, 5 points off the bench. So the bench coming off with 13 major points, which never happens for Purdue. By the way, Purdue's up 10. Ballo missed his first free throw. That shot did not count. Trey Goffman ran 9 points. I think he had 8 at the half. So let's go through all of it. Caleb First, 2 points. CJ Cox, 2 points. He had 2 in the half. Braden Smith, 7 points. Along with 4 assists, 5 turnovers. Thought it'd be more than that. Thought he deserved to get a 6th there. According to the box score, he didn't earn it. Purdue with 15 big turnovers. IU holding it in check with 6. IU up 11 points, 4:33 left. Smith brings it across half court. Dumps it back to TKR after a moving pick. TKR gets whistled for the foul. Like I said, it's an embarrassing second half. It's an embarrassing effort. Coaches should feel awful about this. Players should feel awful about this. And I know, so like, I think there's a fine line we can draw. We can say, don't get things real personal. You should never get personal with players, ever. Never make things personal. But this is really bad effort, and these guys are pros. Every one of Purdue's players gets paid, in case you didn't know that. And every one of Purdue's coaches surely get paid. And for some reason, they sat on timeouts. They didn't change a damn thing with Purdue's getting kicked in the nuts. They weren't too interested in letting it happen. I guess they just wanted to let it run in the Strand. And it was about, 12 minutes into the IU's shellacking of Purdue in the second half before Paint decided to do anything. So it's an embarrassing effort. IC is here, says more turnovers than points in the second half so far. Yeah, it's not going to change. This is an incredible. Let's look at that stat right there. Good point, IC. Purdue's got 14 points in the second half, 15 turnovers. What a joke. 14 points in the second half, 15 turnovers. Rice drives, misses. Ballo put back, made it. Yeah, I don't know what Mabako did to Woodson, but it must have been bad. Purdue on the way. They're cruising towards a sub 60-point game. That's good. Let's see. Campus Bucket says this is sad. I agree. It's sad. It's really, really bad. And I heard Chris Kramer had a good Twitter message this week talking about the players needed a meeting before this one. A players meeting. Wow. And yeah, players needed to have a meeting, make it this their own. This is is a pretty embarrassing effort. Mike Woodson, if Purdue does not play IU in the Big Ten tournament, will end his career at IU 3-3 versus Painter. And there's nothing more pitiful when a team is really getting their ass kicked, when they show the bumper video, the B-roll. There's nothing more pitiful than the coach that's getting his ass kicked, and Painter looked pretty bad on that last one. That old double, throwing up the hands as if he's an old man saying, "Oh, nuts to you." That's what happens. When you lose this way, you look embarrassing, and Purdue looks embarrassing. This is real bad. Nothing's changed. Like I said, I ranted last game after the Michigan State game about nothing changes my loyalties at all. No, I'm a glutton for punishment, but it's an embarrassing game. Sam Lovejoy says, hard to play 5v8. I'm not going to entertain that. This is horrible effort. And all the stuff of Hall of Calls that we've heard in the past. And when the game's somewhat competitive, you can bring that noise, right? You can say, okay, any college basketball game, it's not just Assembly Hall. The refs love a good party. I say it all the time. They're going to get involved. They like the emotion. They like the cheering, like the adulation. It's natural. It's human. And it's sad that it's a part of the game, but it's true. This has nothing to do with this outcome. Purdue made their bed and then laid down, pooped in the bed, and then slept in it. And they're going to be sleeping in it until they play UCLA at Mackey Arena. Boiler Bugle says, what the heck happened in the locker room? I don't know. I always assume there's a big fettuccine Alfredo team dinner with some garlic bread and maybe some red wine for those who are legal. Something to really slow your heart rate way down. Just get you in a nice, cozy place where you feel like you want to take a nap. So I assume that's what happened. My pal Grant, Big Time Boiler, says they call TKR for a fragrant foul, but not on Leal. Yeah, it's a bad comparative thing for anybody. I don't care which side you're on. If you're at all logical, and there's like I said, there's 3 or 4 IU fans that are logical. There aren't many of them, but that's really it's bad comparative officiating. But that's not the difference in this game. It's not the difference in this game. Purdue's losing by 13 to a mediocre team who's fighting to stay on the bubble, and Purdue's fighting to get onto the bubble so they can get knocked out of the tournament, it looks like. Do not put this out of the realm of possibility that Purdue could lose out. Do not. Because this is the way they're playing is just atrocious. And I don't think I'm exaggerating at all, because you just look at this, the listlessness. When this team is playing badly, they are playing horribly. IU's not an offensive team, not a juggernaut by any means. They're scoring with ease. They're turning the pace up on Purdue. Michigan State looked better than incredible in the second half as they backdoored Purdue over and over. And then on the other side, while Purdue tries to run their offense, it's got nothing happening other than, hey, TKR, we pray that you can create enough space to absorb a foul and go to the hoop. It's horrible. Let's see. Swag123 says, I'm done. Whenever people say I'm done, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means you're done with the game or with watching Purdue or something much more grave. So I don't think it's that. I hope it's not that. But look, down to 2 seconds on the shot clock, kicked out to the corner. Colvin hits a 3. How about that? So now Purdue cuts it to 10 with 3:30 left. Nice shot by Colvin. He should have stayed on the bench. Good job, Paint. You guys really did a bang up job start this first half. It's the worst coaching job by Painter in a long time, if not ever, that I can remember. They made IU look really respectable. Let's see. Big Time Boiler says bad roster construction, in my opinion. Agreed. Shame coming off a title game experience. Yeah, there's the things that didn't happen. Ballo on a backdoor cut. Looks like he's going to rip the rim off. Puts IU up by 12. IU faithful going crazy. Now, the question is, do they rush the court because of the number beside Purdue, even though Purdue is a pretender and is not going to be ranked? So I hope they rush the court because I want Purdue fans to remember this. Kent Mertz says they lost on defense. Keep passing up good looks on offense. Yeah, agreed. Leaders on this team have to be better. Everybody's got to be better, Kent. Everybody. This is deplorable stuff. Big Time Boiler says, credit to IU. They really came out, hit us in the nuts. Yeah, that's funny. No, IU deserves credit because they were inspired. Purdue played heartless basketball in the second half. Heartless, gutless basketball. And that, I got to tell you, if there's one thing I think that should annoy Purdue fans, it's that. Playing just a don't care, seemingly don't care brand of basketball. Oh, Purdue with the press. They're great on the press. And get it up to Goody. And IU reset. It's going to take a bunch of time off the clock. Let's see. AJ says, played over talent level at the start of the season somewhat. No, not the start of the season. At the beginning of the season, they played exactly like they're playing now, but they didn't. When they ran into good teams, they lost. So if you go back, Galloway hits a 3, puts it IU by 14. No, they did not play above their talent. I'd say they played above their talent in January. Painter did a very good job scheming the defense. Turnover by Smith. Again, shocking. Rice kicks over Galloway. He'll run some time off the clock. 2 minutes left. Purdue down 14. Let's see. No, they didn't play over the talent level, though, to start the season. I think they looked like what I thought they were in the beginning of the season. If you go back and listen to what I said, I thought it was a 20-22 win team. Guess what? 19-8, and they are stuck on 19 wins. They play UCLA next game. Good team coming to Purdue. They should win. The paint crew will be awesome. They'll be dialed in. It's not going to matter, though. If they play like they did in the second half versus, who was it? Wisconsin, right? It's not going to matter. Doesn't matter how good the paint crew is. The Mackey Magic, the 7 to 10 point turnaround that causes, doesn't matter when your team sucks this bad on defense. So remember, Purdue exploded. They had great offense versus Wisconsin, but all of a sudden, 55 points. 55 points. It's an incredible effort. Boiler D says, Ball with a rebound. IU will push it up court and slow it down. Boiler D says, it appears that someone paid off Braden's. No, there's nobody on the take. They're just playing badly. Nobody's on the take. The thing that I can understand why people might say that first 10 minutes, first 12 minutes of the second half, that was something that it just looked like you're just trying to throw the thing in the toilet. Let's see. Nolan Hostetler says, say what you want about the refs, but you can't blame them for 4 straight losses. I agree completely, Nolan. I completely agree. Don't blame the refs. IU took the fight to Purdue, kicked their ass in the second half. Mike Woodson evened up the score against Paint. Paint did nothing to counterpunch. I mean, the adjustments that Woodson made and the adjustments that Paint made at the half, unbelievable. They are showing Woodson's booster chair. It's cute. Let's see. Boilers 012 says, when does football start? Not soon enough. You got spring games coming. Colvin from top of the key, rims out. IU with the rebound. 129. IU's going to push it up court. Goody is going to take some time off the clock. Purdue is down by 18 points on IU. John Roberts says, game felt like a kick in the groin. Second half especially. Let's not forget everything. I keep saying this. It's really a tale of two halves. That last 8 minutes of the first half were pretty brilliant by Purdue. Purdue had him on the ropes, but couldn't finish. Smith gets a steal and gets it up to Cox. Drives around Ballo. Tries to finish the hoop. Gets fouled by Rice. Yeah, Olive Jazzer says, 100% on the coaching. How in the world did Colvin not start in the second half? I have no idea. I know Paint gets almost, I'm not going to say what I was about to say. Paint gets very rigid at times about the starting lineups, what they look like in the first and second half. There's no way you can sell the idea that Colvin shouldn't have started the second half. Purdue was plus 18 with Colvin on the court in the first half. And then he earns a spot on the bench. Chris R says, this isn't on the defense. Offense just threw the ball away every single time. I could put it on both. I'll tell you why I put it on both. Because not only was IU getting fast break buckets, but they were getting open looks in the corner again. They got open looks in the corner. Wisconsin did. Michigan got open looks in the corner from 3. And I think Goody hit 2 from the corner against Purdue. 50 seconds. IU is up by 17. Running the clock out. Nice job, Boilers. Let's see. Chris says half-court defense was decent. Just letting them get out in transition. 11 points on 4 turnovers in the second half. Yeah, I tell you, I have no time for open looks from 3 in this era of college basketball. I just don't. I know IU's not a good three-point shooting team, but I have no time for it. So 27 seconds left. Harris is on the left side. Gets to Lawyer at the top of the key. Behind the back dribble. Drives. Turnaround. Hits the 2. 58-73, 18.9 seconds left. This should be IU's last possession. Jack Leonard, 22, says, this is a good stat. 48-21 in the second half. Not what good teams do. Bingo. This team's bad, right? As they sit right now, this team is bad. Purdue has so much work. They are looking up at everybody that's decent right now. Game's over. Purdue loses 73-58. I'm not going to go over any more of the stats. There's no reason to do that. I'm just going to call it a day. I am angry at that effort. I'm angry at that effort. Congrats to IU for staying on the bubble. It's great. They played inspired. IU did it. They took it to Purdue. Purdue did nothing. So, Kalen Bibry says this team loses in the first round, right? I mean, I'm telling you, you keep effing around like they're doing right now, they won't go to the tournament. And I'm not kidding around. Look at the schedule. UCLA is losable. Rutgers is losable. Illinois is losable. 19 wins ain't gonna cut it. You're not gonna get in the tournament. You can call me crazy. I got in a debate with the guy about stats and net rankings and all that. Purdue's net ranking has to be plummeting right now. Has to be plummeting. Yeah, exactly. Go to that fun tournament in Vegas, whatever that's called. First loss in the tournament, I wouldn't even talk about the tournament right now. I'm not kidding. I don't know how Purdue fans can do that. As badly as they've played in these 4 losses, I don't know how you can do it. They had one game that, well, they competed in 2, right? Competed in 2 of those games that they lost, 2 of the 4. Mr. Meister says, we forget how to play defense, apparently forgot how to play offense too. Yeah, this is coaching. Felt like we didn't attempt a single 3 in the second half. Well, Colvin attempted a couple. I think he went 1 of 2. So that's not completely true. But it's easy to lose your understanding of the game when you have a second half like that. Well done, Boilers. Well done. Let's look at the record right now. Purdue sits at 19-9, 11-6 in conference. Like I said, they've got UCLA coming to Mackey next. And then I think they have Rutgers coming to Mackey, and then they go to Illinois. I think that's right. Let's look at that one more time. Just look at that. Yeah, if you think there's gimmies in that group, you're wrong. There's not a gimme in that group. Peichel is known to have been pull out a rabbit out of his hat, where's Purdue. But you have 2 games in a row at Mackey. 2 games in a row. So Purdue plays in 5 days against UCLA to end the wonderful month of February for your Boilers. And then Rutgers is on the 4th of March. The good news about the way they're playing is if you're a Purdue fan, you just love the NCAA tournament, which I do. This makes Purdue nothing more than an also-ran right now. You can't be thinking anything about delusions of grandeur that this Purdue team could make a run. They're not built like that. Not built for that. Awful. What's your answer to stop the losing streak? I'll tell you what I would have done, and it's a little late, but I would have taken some pretty. I would have taken a machete to the starting lineup today, and I would have sat Lawyer and Smith both. And the reason I'd sit Lawyer and Smith both is because they've started every game of their career so far, and I'd send them a message. Send them a message saying, if we're gonna fuck around, guys, this is what you're gonna get. I mean, this is awful. You guys are the captains. I would have said, do you sit TKR? I wouldn't sit TKR. He's the only guy who's busting his ass, it looks like to me. I know these guys, none of these guys want to lose. Okay. I'm not saying that, but I say you have to do something psychologically to get a team to, I can't watch that. To get a team to get their heads out of their asses, their collective heads out of their asses. And this team's not ready for that. They're not built that way. But that's what I would have done. And I would have done it a game ago. You have to do something to change the mentality of a team. I said before the roster's incomplete about Purdue. There's no doubt roster's incomplete. IU's not a good team. And IU just took Purdue behind the woodshed. Congrats to IU. Congrats to IU fans. Yeah. So anyway, sorry about the cursing. Don't mean to do that. Really don't. But that's how you stop the losing streak. You don't wait. Gosh, you do not wait. And Payne has waited and waited and waited. And there's no reason to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I had a moron getting to me saying that Painter's best days are behind him and all this. If you're that soft as a fan, what is wrong with you? It was less than a calendar year ago. They're in the championship. And you're going to say it's over pretty much. You're a moron at that point. You are an absolute moron. And your lower intestinal fortitude needs to be questioned. You are a wimp. If you say that's it, you got issues. Yeah, but there's plenty of reason to be mad. You can do both of those. You can say, hell yeah, I'm pissed off at this team, and I'm mad at the coaches, really mad at the coaches. And by the way, it's okay to be mad at 3 seniors, one of them a 4th-year player on campus. It's okay to be mad at those guys. It's not okay to be personal. That's. I want to just make that very clear. But it's okay to be upset and be like, what the hell? You know, for it to be an incomplete roster is one thing. To get beaten up by teams, not just lose, but get beaten up by Wisconsin at home and get beaten up by IU in the second half where you just have no pulse, it's inexcusable stuff. So Alpaca Herd says, good old Painter in the spring. Painter's, people keep saying this, and I implore you, if you don't understand this, go look at Paint's record in February, generally. Just go do it. If you think Painter, if you call that the spring, I don't know if this is February, Purdue fans. This is February. He's awesome in February generally. Awesome. And this February has been a bloodbath. Purdue's been horrible. So yeah, you can say what you want about Painter in the tournament. He's had some downfalls, whatever you want to call. Absolutely accurate. Last year should have wiped some of your criticality away. I mean, just to be fair for a second, Purdue absolutely rolled through the NCAA tournament last year until they got to the championship. And that just happened, guys. I know we're in a world where everybody's clicking on shit and wants stuff to happen right away. And you don't want any reload. I know everybody's mad at me for saying, wait until next year where the roster should be more complete. Well, this starts making you doubt that idea, right? And I didn't see this coming. I didn't see Purdue rolling over. I did not, but here we are. Jerry Huff says, softest team ever. Softest second half ever. Whining about the calls? No. Yeah, even the team was whining about the calls. I don't know. I saw there was a little whining after one, but they don't have any fire in their belly. Jack's Boiler says, start Colvin or Heidi in place of Lawyer. I'm telling you, I would send such a loud message. I hope if there's any way you could bench Painter, he deserves it too. But the problem is you can't. You can't bench the coaching staff, but they deserve it. The players, though, deserve a lot of this credit. That was awful in the second half. Lawyer actually played pretty well, by the way. Lawyer played pretty well in the second half. Smith, though, is on his bullshit where he's turned the ball over all the time. And when he's getting frustrated, the poise, you got to get that poise back. Got to get that poise back. And somebody's got to send a message, one way or another. Send a message. So, Lawyer's defense is not new, Jack Spoiler. That's not a new problem. It is not. There's only so much you can hide, right? And the problem Purdue's had all season is early in the season, it looked like Colvin was the guy who was going to cure that defensive problem, right? But the problem is he stopped shooting, which matters. And then he started getting his doors blown off on defense, right? So you had both of those things happen. And so it kind of created a confluence of factors where Purdue was in trouble. Plus, they still need rebounding. Let's check that out. I bet that was ugly because IU in the first half especially was controlling the glass. But let's look at that one. That'll be a fun stat. Well, that can't be the whole game, can it? Yeah. Purdue out rebounds IU by 1. Holy moly. 28 rebounds. I take it all back. 73-58. What a game. Purdue plays great because they beat IU on the boards. Sarcasm. Have a great day. God bless you. Purdue plays UCLA on the 28th of February. So that's 5 days from now. Hope you have a good week. We'll see you.